time, and on a Thursday, the day is important too, the day of the week. So anyway, that means it is now time for Tune Into Life, where we go behind the music, the band, the album, the song, and we look at uh, the meaning, just different elements of it. We look at quotes from the band members, if it's a single artist, a single artist. Anyways, this is week 2 of Heavy Metal Month, and our song is War Pigs from Black Sabbath's second album. Anyway, we'll get on with the show. See you in about 8 minutes. Here comes the song.
Gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning, death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh Lord, yeah. when darkness world stops turning, ashes where their bodies burning. No more war pigs have the power, and as God has struck the hour, day of judgment God is calling. On the knees the war pigs crawling, begging mercies for the sins. Satan laughing spreads his wings. Oh Lord, yeah.
So I will answer Wayne directly. He asks, is Megadeth up next for this month? Yes, I'm a big Dave Mustaine fan. I like Metallica. I just don't love Metallica. I'm not a Metallica fanboy. Anyways, always like Dave Mustaine and Megadeth. So we're going to do Megadeth. I haven't chosen the song yet. So Wayne, if you have any suggestions, just push them out there. So we're talking about Black Sabbath. The original and best lineup, even though Ronnie James Dio gives Ozzy, I mean, I know he's dead, so he gave Ozzy a run for his money in the vocal department. I mean, some would say classically Ronnie James Dio was far better than Ozzy, but I don't know. I mean, heavy metal has a certain sound. Ronnie James Dio vocally better because he sounded more operatic. And one of my favorite YouTubers is the Charismatic Voice. It's this I was going to say she's an ex-opera singer, but she's not an ex-opera singer. She's an opera singer, vocal teacher, has had a lot of training, done a lot of opera, but she does this really cool show where she takes a song and she analyzes it, like their vocals and stuff, and like uses terms. Like I've had vocal training, but I don't know all the dipthoid and the thingamabob. I mean, I don't know all the technical names, but she's like, oh, and here they're singing from their throat, and throat singing, not, and she like just goes really into it. Oh, all right, cool. Bob's in the house too. So that's Bob. We won't mention his last name, Kaplan, and Rainey. There's probably like a million Kaplans. I don't know. Anyway, so what was I talking about? Oh yeah. The charismatic voice. So she does this cool show. Anyway, she loves Ronnie James Dio. Like she's done like 3 or 4 songs. Like I think she did a Rainbow song. Did she do a Sabbath song? Sabbath song and a Dio song. So in 3 of his bands, solo career, whatever, she's done it and she really loves them. Anyways, I like Ozzy. Ozzy's just got that snare, and I mean, Black Sabbath is one of the definitive heavy metal bands. So even though we went over this last week, where the actual term heavy metal it's a debate. There's a debate whether it's this musical critic or that musical critic. But anyway, 2 of them around the same time. And weirdly enough, it was both about critiques of Led Zeppelin music, and they used it as like a direct derogatory term. Like, it's like the clanging of heavy metal, like, I mean, if you think about that, it'd be an annoying sound, you're right next to it. Ding, ding. So anyways, they compared it, and it was actually negative criticism. And that became the title for a genre of music. Isn't that awesome? I like when people turn things around. That's kind of like the LGBTQ plus now, is it? I mean, they keep adding letters. Who knows? Anyways, I'm an ally. I just can't keep up with your alphabet, and you're at the limit of letters I can remember. So even if you add other letters, which I think in some cases they have, I'm just going to go LGBTQ plus, whatever the other stuff is. Anyways, they took during the Holocaust. So not only did they gather up Jews and experiment on and kill over 6 million of them, they also did that for homosexuals. They did that. They just black people. They did that with lots of people. It's just the Jews were the most picked on as far as numbers killed. Anyway, for homosexuals, they had the symbol that they used in the Holocaust. Now the gay community uses it as like for gay pride and stuff, which I think, hey, that's pretty cool. That's the way to turn a thing around. Or as my mom would say, when they give you lemons, make lemonade. So that's making lemonade. Bad shit happens, and you just, he said the S word, then you got to do it. So anyways, let's get to the first quote, because there's some pretty darn good quotes here. The only person I don't have a quote from is Bill Ward, the drummer. And by the way, before I forget, so I think, was it Ozzy's last album before he left and then came back? No, it was the next to last album before Ozzy got fired, actually. Ozzy got fired because he was abusing alcohol and whatever. Didn't really hurt him then. He went on to, Symphony of Destruction. I might go that one. But Wayne in the chat's giving me, he's already on to the next show. He's not staying present. This show is about Black Sabbath. He's talking about Megadeth and what song I should do next week. So we're not talking about that, Wayne. I will look at the comments and I'll pick one for next week. But right now we're doing Black Sabbath War Pigs, and I'm talking about Technical Ecstasy. A lot of hardcore Black Sabbath fans hate that album. And I know why, but I actually think it's a good album. And it's got Gypsy. And the reason I brought it up is Bill Ward, in his band before Black Sabbath, he's actually one of the main singers. So the guy's got a good voice. It's more of a poppy, clean kind of voice. And so he's only sang 2 songs on any Sabbath records. And one of them was from Technical Ecstasy, and it's called I'm All Right. And I actually like it. So, but what they tried to do is Tony Iommi, who produced and engineered a lot of the albums. It's right around the 80s, and the heavy metal is kind of transitioning. And a lot of people make fun of the 80s hair bands, and they go, that's not heavy metal. That was pop music. It's like, you know what? I like Rat. I like Cinderella. I like all the 80s. Well, not all of them. I like the good 80s hair bands, and I can understand their point. Maybe they're poppy, but no, I'll still call them heavy metal. Anyways, Black Sabbath, even though they were one of the grandfathers of the genre, and I don't know if he's getting pressure from the record label or whatever, but Tony Iommi on Technical Ecstasy decided, you know what, I'm going to clean up our sound. Let's go for like some mainstream radio. And so some people say he overproduced that one, but it's just like a clean, it's not really heavy metal. I mean, it's got Gypsy, one of my favorite Black Sabbath songs of all time. And it's got It's All Right, which is sung by Bill Ward, the drummer. anyways, that all started with me saying the only person I didn't have a quote from was Bill Ward. I couldn't find a good quote by Bill Ward. Anyway, so you had an Ozzy comment? Ami snorted ants with Motley Crue, and anyway, I was actually so I did a post on LinkedIn. Yes, Wayne, you always distract me. So the ants in that comment brought it up. So here, let me actually put that up there so people know what I'm talking about. Where's the ant one? Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. There we go. Ozzy snorted ants with Motley Crue and drank a bowl of spit. And of course, the famous biting off, dude, spell check. Biting off the bats' heads during the concert. So he did that several times. And actually, I didn't use that quote, but Ozzy cracks me up. So there's one quote. He's talking about the bat thing. He's going, so I bit the head off the bat, and then I had to get a rabies shot, but the bat had to get an Aussie shot. Boom. So no, it wasn't. It wasn't originally called the Pocatello Blues Band. There was like 3 names, and that was one of the bands technically that wasn't Black Sabbath. But anyway, we'll give it to you, Wayne, because I didn't give you the pizza thing. Just so you know, we have a contest going on a group that we belong to name the 9 types of pizza. That's right, you name the 9 types of pizza. We already know about deep dish pizza. And so I said, if anyone could name, and by the way, that contest ends in 45 minutes. So Wayne is still the front runner. I'll have to go check the group that we're on together on Discord. Anyways, Wayne is in the lead with 4. So I said, whoever gets the most types of pizza correct, I'll send them Lou Malnati's pizza in the mail. And obviously there's people from Canada, there's people from Spain, so I can't do it there. We'll figure out what I do for them if they win. But it kind of looks like Wayne's going to win. So I'll ask Wayne, what kind of pizza do you want? They send 3 by mail. I think they only send 2, so you get 2. I think 2's the minimum, so you get 2 deep dish pizzas. But you haven't went yet. There's still 45 minutes. Someone else can do it. Anyways, so I forgot why I started that tirade. Pizza. I don't know. Anyways, I was reading about ravens. I know. What is he talking about? I know we'll get back to Black Sabbath in a second. I was reading about ravens because I did a post on LinkedIn. There we go. That's where it was. So I did this post on LinkedIn, and basically it's related to war pigs. So it is related. They're all together. So war pigs, if you don't see the lyrics, it's all about how generals, and that includes politicians, basically they get their country into war, and then the people that actually fight the wars and die on the field are like the poorer people or the common folk that go in and fight their wars when they're just like a citizen. So they're doing the right thing supposedly because they're, fighting for their country and everything. But really a lot of it is the ambition of the politicians and the generals. Generals gather in the masses, just like witches at black masses. Anyway, so my post around war pigs to get people to come to the show was around, are you a dove, a hawk, or a raven? So most people haven't heard of the raven, so they brought that in there. But one of the things ravens do, when I was researching ravens for that post, is they rub themselves. What they do is they'll roll around in an anthill, and supposedly a lot of birds do this, but they'll roll around an anthill and get ants crawling all over them, and then they'll just like take their beak and like just smush them so their innards just go all over their feathers. And so entomologists and bird people, I don't know, a bird scientist, probably ornithologist or something. Anyway, experts, they're not even sure why they do this, but they think it might act as an insecticide or repellent for the birds. Anyways, there's that little aside. Learn a little about ravens, learn a little about ants, and it all came from Wayne saying Ozzy Osbourne snorted some ants and bit the head out of a bat, which he did do. But the guy is he's kind of loopy, and I have a really good quote by him. But first, we're gonna go Tony Iommi. So anyway, so Tony Iommi. Oh, there it is. I knew. I should have known. Rainey is my fact checker. This isn't fact checking. She like last week. I didn't remember the poet who wrote the song. The poem Rim that Iron Maiden did a song over. But It's ornithologist. Actually, let me bring that up because that's hard to say. So the bird expert is called ornithologist. That's right, ornithologist. I was trying to do it like a a game show host. Anyways, yeah. Okay, we'll just put that up there just because Wayne likes his ego strokes. Black Sabbath, the album was recorded in one day over just 12 hours. Yes, Wayne, and how much did it cost? It didn't cost that much, which is why it was so successful. That's correct. So the first one's kind of dark, and I would call it stodgy, even though I like it. But yeah, so the first one, self-titled album. So anyway, so Tony Iommi, the songwriter, founder, and guitarist, technically he's a co-founder because him and Geezer were the main founders, even though kind of the way it went is Tony was in a band with Ozzy and Geezer was in a band with Bill. They both got out of it. Hey, Kelsey's in the house. And so they both got out of their bands, and then those two half of bands, I guess, would join together to become Black Sabbath. And yes, one of their previous names, as Wayne did it, we'll just give Wayne another credit, is the Polka Tulk Blues Band, because they were really into blues and they just made them heavier. That was kind of their big thing, like blues. So back to the Tony Iommi quote, which has just been sitting there for a while. So the feeling you get from playing to a good audience is hard to describe without sounding though you're talking silly. You might feel in yourself that you're doing it okay, but it's when you get the live reactions that you know you're doing it right. And have been many bands, like I can say that's true. We won't go into albums, but I've had a few albums, and let's just say combined in my hundreds of songs, I'd say about 100 songs have been released in some album format, and they were before CD. So we're talking a long time ago, even though some were recorded digitally. But you don't know until you, I don't sound like Chris Walken. You don't know until you get out there. I can't do Chris Walken. So on the stage and people hear it and they go, oh, okay. Yeah, we like that one better. But in relation to that is the world will always give you feedback. People will give you feedback. The universe will give you physics. Physics will give you feedback. When you do something, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Hey, Andrew in the house. He's on his lunch break and he's saying hi. So let's say hi back. Thank you, Kelsey. Kelsey says, yo, Marky B, looking sharp, my friend. So the world will always give you feedback, and it's up to you whether you listen to it and or act on it. So that's always true. You're always going to get feedback. It could be good. It could be bad. It could be done with open heart. It could be done with good intention. It could be done with bad intention. Regardless, you've heard the expression, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And basically meaning like if someone gives you a message, well, no matter what that message is, no matter what the intent was, there might be an element of truth in it. And it's up to you to listen to it and call all that crap off and not react to it. It's like, he meant to hurt me, so I'm going to be hurt. It's like, no, don't use their words, sharpen them up like a pencil and stab yourself. Kind of listen. Is there any element of truth? What can I learn from that? And then move on and use it. Now Wayne's asking Andrew's lunch plans. Really? Okay. Got a convo going in the chat room and LinkedIn. Doesn't look like anyone else on the other formats. But so I actually have two about Terrence Michael Joseph Geezer Butler, obviously known as Geezer. He's the primary lyricist, but most of it you didn't know that. And so he wrote the lyrics to this War Pigs and stuff. It's very good. And as founder, bass player, Black Sabbath. So the first one is, if you polish things too much, it loses the feeling. And that one will lead to the focus. Yeah, Wayne, okay. That one will lead to the life lesson. But the second one, I just like it because it actually speaks to the meaning of the song. It says, I don't feel a lack of hope. It's just disappointment that after all these years, we're still fighting meaningless wars for a handful of people. And ladies and gentlemen, in a nutshell, that is what War Pigs is all about. It's about people like Putin, people like Trump, people like anyone who incites a war basically to fight without kind of trying to work it out. I mean, the United States, Russia, they have enough, muscle and stuff that they can actually negotiate and use diplomatic measures and kind of come to an agreement before they send people to war and then start killing people that they're attacking, and then even their citizens dying. So it's too much war in the world. And oh, by the way, everybody talks about genocide this, genocide that, and kind of sad to me we ignore we ignore Africa, because Africa, there's always at least one country in Africa where genocide is occurring, and for some reason it seems like the world just doesn't give a rip. So I think that's wrong. Anyways, it's a political commentary, and we're going to get back to War Pigs, which actually is a political song, so it kind of fits in. But for the Geezer Butler, let's just go back to the first quote, because that's where the life lesson comes from. If you polish things too much, it loses the feeling. So, and he's talking about music, but that also applies to life. There's no such thing as perfection. You can't reach perfection. It's an impossible goal. You can look at something that's perfect and try to achieve it, but that's a move towards excellence. You'll just never be perfect. But being satisfied with good enough, or that's as good as it gets, and move on. So that's not saying to settle, it's saying just to be realistic. Okay, so you can't reach perfection. I think I talked about this on a previous show, but excellence to me is a better goal than perfection, because you're never going to reach perfection. And when you hold yourself to an unrealistic standard, you're always going to be less than, and it's always going to hurt you in the long run, because you're going to go, oh, I feel bad because I didn't reach perfection. Well, guess what? Nobody can. So get over it. So it's not settling. It's just going, hey, set a high standard. You shoot for it. And what most people that are successful know is they shoot for that. They can have perfection, know what perfection is. And they, in their mind, is like, well, I'm never going to hit that, but I'm going to shoot for it anyway. And so they shoot for it. And then in shooting for it, they go further than they would have in the first place without that. And then they readjust, and then they aim again, and then they go, and they keep going, and they keep going. So you get good enough, good enough, good enough, good enough. And if you keep doing good enough, good enough, good enough, and not striving for perfection and hurting yourself by making, oh, I'm bad, I'm less than, I can't do that, they're all better than me. Get that crap out of your head, and then just go for excellence. And then as you reach for excellence, you'll have a better life, you'll be more satisfied with life, and you'll actually move farther than all the people that strive for perfection and never reached it. Because a lot of people, they'll shoot for perfection, then they'll beat the crap out of themselves, and then they'll never try again. That to me is sad. And that's actually where the third quote and third life lesson comes from. So let's move on to that. I have a saying. Oh, this is by Ozzy, by the way. I'll try to do his voice again. I was saying, never judge a book by its cover. I say that because I don't even know who Ozzy is. I wake up a new person every day. That's actually too eloquent for Ozzy, because Ozzy doesn't talk that clearly, but I just love that quote. So don't judge a book by its cover. I mean, everybody's heard that quote, but this is, how would Ozzy say that? Yeah, exactly. And then he goes, I don't even know who Ozzy is, and I wake up a new person every day. And so that leads to the life lesson that inaction and stasis is death. So don't be a zombie. Change is constant. That's a given. In life, change is a constant. Continuing to grow and change is the key of life. Key to life, anyway. So just like that, I love this analogy. So an EKG, this, which seems like a lot of people want to strive for this. I want stability. I don't want any drama. I don't want anything to change. Well, guess what? On an EKG, this is flatlining. This is death. Okay? This is life. It's just like the old granny, not old granny, but Steve Martin's mother in Parenthood does this analogy of life where she says, a lot of people like the merry-go-round. It goes round and round. That's really interesting. Nothing ever changes. Me, I like the roller coaster. It goes up, it goes down, it goes sideways. You never know what's going to happen, and it's exciting. It's an analogy for life. I don't want to go on the merry-go-round. That's merry-go-round. The merry-go-round. It's just boring. And I love roller coasters. I'm a big fan of roller coasters. One of my best friends, he's worked for McDonald's. McDonald's would lease out Great America over Mid-America, which is in Gurney. The people that live there say Gurney instead of Gurney. It's spelled Gurnee. So I say Gurney. But sorry, people, I'll say it your way. Gurney. And so we'd get, and he could bring 2 or 3 or 4 friends. And so he'd always invite me. So we had Great America, which is this small crowd of like a couple hundred. So me and like him and maybe 3 other people, we just cruise to all the roller coasters, and we hit them like every one of them 3 or 4 times in a day. It was exhausting. It hurt, but it was fun as heck. And there's like 9 really cool roller coasters in that park. Anyways, I enjoy the roller coaster over the merry-go-round. And so that kind of leads, I'll just go back to the 3 life lessons instead of repeat the third one. Technically, it is repeating. But hey, we're not going to go there, right? All right, Kelsey, see you later. Thank you very much for showing up. I will probably forget that you're gone and say hi to you and thank you to you at the end of the show as well. So, but the world always give you feedback. It's up to you whether you listen to and or act on it. So, yeah, I mean, there's always feedback. This is listening to it. And the second one, there's no perfection. Be satisfied with good enough, or that's good as it gets, and move on. Remember, that doesn't mean settling. That just means acknowledging, having the intelligence to go, you know what? No one reaches perfection. I can look at what perfection might look like, and I can aim for that. And when I miss it, I'm not going to beat myself up. But I got further than if I didn't know that goal, and just acknowledge, hey, I can't do that perfection, but I could go for excellence. I hit excellence, and then you keep shooting it, keep challenging yourself. And a lot of good enoughs and in action, when you're not in action, but doing action to get to the perfection that you can't get to, but acknowledging excellence and keeping moving forward, that is success in life. And then the last one, inaction, truly inaction. And stasis is death. Don't be a zombie. Change is a constant. Continuing to grow and change is the key to life. So who'd have thunk it? These life lessons come from War Pigs and from the original members of Black Sabbath. And the whole point of this month is, I know there's other genres of music that get criticized and all that kind of stuff, but it seems like heavy metal gets its unfair share of criticism. And a lot of people out there, for whatever reason, they're ultra conservative or whatever. I don't know why they do it, but they just judge a book on its cover, like Ozzy said, don't do that. Don't judge a book by its cover. Anyway, so, you just got to go out there, live your life. And yes, you knew it was coming because it comes at the end of every show. Living your best life creates a better world for everyone. And I am part of that everyone. And I thank you all for at least going to live your best life. So I just want to thank Wayne, Andrew, Kelsey. I know Kelsey left, but we're going to thank her anyway. Bob, my cousin Rainey. Remember, Rainey, your blood. I know it doesn't make any biological sense, but you are. Kelsey, Andrew, and of course, Wayne for showing up today. And don't worry, Rainey, more people watch it on the replay. And as Bob said, I do this for my fun, my pleasure, which seems kind of selfish now that I think about it. But, and one other note, I mean, it's news to me, so I'm kind of happy. So this, you probably all heard the story ad infinitum if you read my LinkedIn posts at all. But so I filed for a trademark in this, and it's been going on for 13 months now. So I think I'm finally on the final stage of it. The final stage is, if you've never done a trademark, the final stage is called statement of use. And so you're basically just waiting for one of the people in the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office to review it, make sure all the ducks are on the row, the I's are crossed. I mean, the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, and you move on. And so I should have that, I'm hoping, within 1 month, that will be my trademark. And as I've always stated, I'm not trademarking and copyrighting it to prevent others from using it. I am just defending my right to use it. So no one will ever tell me that I can't use that, because I will own it. But if you want to use it, go right ahead. It's just one of my, it seems like a very empowering statement. So with that, I all thank you. I don't know what that was. That actually looks stupid. It's supposed to be kisses and showing love and appreciation, but it actually looks spastic. Anyway, so we're gonna go. Thank you for the congratulations, Rainey. So I want to thank you all for showing up, and then I'll play the outro, which basically, I don't know if you've noticed. Well, you don't see the message. What I see a message every time is on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. It says part of the audio is blocked on your show because of copyright violations. So that's why I show the copyright thing at the beginning of the show and the end of the show. Because guess what? It's really weird. I don't know why, but so they block it. The copyright holder blocks it, and then someone reviews it, and then within 2 weeks they go, "Oh, okay, we we pull back our objection to using the copyrighted thing. I see you're doing education and all the exceptions. Anyways, those exceptions will be coming up soon. If you don't want to watch, that's fine. I'll see you all next week. It's going to be Megadeth. I will review the songs. Hey, Dusty's in the house. I'll review the songs that Wayne suggested, but I'm kind of leaning towards, what am I leaning towards? So it'll be Megadeth, that's for sure. And I'm leaning towards, I don't know. I like Mike Megadeth, so I'm not sure what I'll probably do Symphony. I almost said Sympathy for Destruction, which sounded like a combination of Rolling Stones' Sympathy for the Devil and Megadeth's Symphony of Destruction, which actually would kind of be a cool kind of combination. But it'll probably be Symphony for Destruction if I change my mind. So I know it's Symphony, Wayne. I know. And Dusty, thank you for showing up. You can watch the replay if you want. It was a pretty good show, I think. You can ask other people, Wayne, Andrew, Kelsey, and I think that's all the Beasties were here. Were there other Beasties? Rainey and Bob, my cousins, were here. I think that's all the Beasties are here. Kelsey, Andrew, Wayne, and you. But thank you all for coming. Doesn't matter. Even if you come late, I don't care. I appreciate anyone who's here, even if you're here for 1 second. It is appreciated. I do this for fun. Hopefully it's educates some people. Hope maybe it motivates you. Any of that, it's good stuff. And I'll see you next week. Megadeth, maybe Symphony for Destruction, but I'm going to kind of review it. And then Wayne will ping me all week. You should do Symphony. I told you to do Symphony. You better do Symphony. So here's the outro. Shows you the use that I have, how I use the copyright, and how this is for education purposes only. You all have a great week, and I will see you later. Catch you on the flip side.